Hi guys, welcome to another how-to video. This is the second part of the word lesson, so if you didn't already do part one, make sure you do that first. We're going to go over a couple of the same things from the first lesson and then also add some more. And so this time we're going to do a couple more complex things than we did in the first lesson. So the things we're going to be doing today is edit the header, which we did that in the first lesson. We're going to go over that again. We're going to insert a table. We're going to wrap text around an image. We're going to make lists into a column. We're going to insert a text box, use Format Painter, which I'll talk about what that means when we get there. Select all to change the font of the entire page, which that was asked for by a few of you in the survey from the first lesson, and then change orientation of the page, which means just turn the entire page itself. So we'll talk about what that means when we get there. So if you have not already done so, go ahead and go into Schoology and open the word template. So your first period teacher should already have added this to your Pride lessons. So you can go ahead and open up the template and as always, and download it. And as always, we want to make sure we save it first. So go ahead and file, save as, and save it somewhere you will remember. So this is my Word part 2. Now I'm going to save mine to my desktop and saved. All right, so this already has the template here to walk us through what we're going to be doing today. So the first thing, number one, is to add your name to the header above. If you look above, it says your name here. So if you remember from the first lesson, to get into this header up here, we double click where it says your name here or just anywhere in the top. So if we double click in the top, it'll open up into the header. So again, double click in the top, and then I'm going to select this whole part where it says your name here by highlighting it and just type my name, Miss Brown. And then double click back down in the bottom to get out of it. So double click in the top to get there, double click down the bottom to get out of it. So there's number one. Number two, it says insert two columns by 3-row table. So underneath there, I'm just going to click so I'm underneath it just to keep everything organized. And I'm going to go to insert up here at the top, insert, and you'll see table. When I click on that, it shows all the different options for table. So as you start dragging over these boxes, one, you'll see the boxes appear, and two, we can make it the correct size. So we want 2 columns, so I'm going to go 2 over and 3 rows. So there's 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows. To make that stay where it is, I just click on the box where I'm still highlighted, and it makes it create them. So now we have our table. Now I know a lot of you will use this in language arts, so just keep in mind that's how you can create your tables for that. And you can insert multiple tables into one ongoing document instead of creating separate documents for each table. You can just keep adding more tables. And then it says add 1 color to each box just to fill them in. So I'm going to insert a table or just type in blue there, and I'm going to click on the next box, type another color. Click on another box, type another color, and just keep filling them in until you have all of your colors listed or whatever you want. I just picked colors to have something to fill in. So creating a table, we went up to insert, and then from this drop down, you selected however many boxes you needed it to be. And then you just click it to create. So to get out of the box now, I just click below it, and now we have our table. So again, insert table and then however many boxes you need it to be based on the columns and the rows. Columns are the up and down, rows are the side to side. All right, so that is table. Next, we're going to wrap the text. So we see our smiley face, and if you notice, there's this paragraph behind it, and the paragraph is doing just that. It is going behind the smiley face. So we want to make it so the text wraps around the smiley face. So I'm going to show you the couple different features that you can do with this. So we're going to first select on the smiley face. So if you click on the smiley face, notice it's now highlighted, and we want to right click on it. So if you right click, you can do this one of 2 ways. One, if you click with 2 fingers, that'll double click, or if you just click on the lower right side of your mouse pad, that'll right click. You can also use this option here, but it doesn't show you as you're changing it, so I'm not going to use that option. So I'm going to use 2 fingers to click on the face. And if you notice, that's right click. So all of these options pop up. One of the options you'll see here is wrap text. You also have send to front, send to back. These just send if you have a bunch of different stuff and you want one to be behind the other. You use these features here. All right, so we're going to go to wrap text. And as you highlight over these options, you'll see how it's changing. So if you notice, it's now wrapping around the text. So in line with text, it puts it in the middle. Square, tight are pretty much the same thing. Depending on your shape, you'll see the different changes in those. Top and bottom just makes the picture go above. And then there's behind the text. So now my picture is behind my text. The text is going over top of it, or in front of, which was how it was at first. So I'm going to wrap it tight. So that will just keep the text to be as close to the picture as possible, but it'll go around it instead of over it. So I'm going to click on that. So again, to do that, I with 2 fingers or right click on the face, which is my image, I went to wrap text and changed it to tight. And that made my text wrap around my picture. So now we've done header, columns, and wrapping texts. Next, we're going to create a 2-column list. So if you notice, it says item 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. It's just one long running list. We want to make that list into 2 columns. So I'm going to select next to the first item. Now I'm going to highlight it. So I'm clicking and just dragging until I have the entire list highlighted. So my whole list is highlighted just by selecting it. And this time I'm going to go to, layout. So at the top, layout. And then you'll see column here. And you can do as many columns as you need to, but this time we're just going to do 2 so you can see what happens. So 1 is how it always is, and 2 is to make it just that, 2 columns. So when you click on that, if you notice, now your items are in 2 columns. And that just makes them nice and centered. You can adjust your columns by messing with the margins depending on what you need, but just to know how to make the columns, I selected my list, I went to layout, and then to columns, but you have to make sure your items are highlighted to make that into a column. All right, almost finished. We have our text box is next. So just like in PowerPoint, we're going to insert a text box. So just like in PowerPoint, we want to insert text box. And just click a simple one. And I'm going to put here is my text box. You probably won't use that very often. More often than not, you'll use it in PowerPoint. But I just want to show you that if you went up to insert and then text box, that was an option. So that is how you insert a text box. So again, insert, text box over here, and that's how you insert them. While we're here, I'm just going to show you 2 more things. So over here, equation and symbol. These are things you probably won't use that often, but if you ever do have to type math on the computer, equation is where you go, and symbol has some additional symbols you might insert, like pi or an angle symbol or things like that. So that is where you go for those. There's also word art is here, is this little a. So these are all different insert features. And this is also where you can insert pictures, online pictures, which was like clip art, and shapes was how I put that smiley face. You can also do other kinds of shapes there. So this is where all of those insert things were. So insert text box, just to put one there. Now Format Painter is something that I've recently learned about, and I found it to be very helpful. So a lot of you asked how to make the font all the same color, same font, whatever you would like it to be. So the first sentence is, here, this is how you would like the sentence to look like. And then we have this red one, and it says use Format Painter to make the sentence look the same as the one above. So anywhere in that first sentence that we want it to look like, I'm going to highlight. You don't need to highlight the whole thing, just highlight something so there is some part of that sentence highlighted. So I highlight part of that sentence, and in home, you will see Format Painter. So I highlight part of my sentence that I want it to look like. So I want it to be that same. And then I go to Format Painter. Now it'll look like nothing has changed, but if you notice at the top, Format Painter is still highlighted. So I want to make this sentence look the same. So with this Format Painter still highlighted, I'm going to click at the beginning, click and hold, and highlight the sentence. And when I let go, it changes it to look the exact same as what I had highlighted before. There's another way you can do it. If you double click on Format Painter, it'll stay and highlight anything you highlight will make it that font. So Format Painter, I highlighted what I wanted it to look like, click Format Painter, and then selected what I wanted to change. So that's a quick and easy way to make everything look this, to make two things look the same. Now the last option is to select all to change the entire page. So just like when we copied and pasted. So to copy, we hit Control C. To paste, we hit Control V. If you hit Control A is select all. So if we hit Control A, it selects everything on the document. So once everything is selected, you can see that every single thing on here is selected except my header. Everything is selected, and I'm going to go to my font, which was this first box here, and just pick whatever you want it to be. I'm going to make it Arial, which is the plain one. So select all, and then you can change it to whatever you need. Now that just changed the font itself. You can also change size and color all the same. But because I have everything highlighted, everything will change with whatever I'm trying to change. So Control A, select it all, and then you can change everything to be the same however you want. One last final thing is the orientation of the page. So right now a page is vertical, which means it's up and down long ways. We want to turn it so it's horizontal. So its long ways go this way. So instead of up and down, it's going to go sideways. So we're going to go to Layout. This second option here is Orientation, and it shows you that it turns it. When you click on that, you will see two options, Portrait and Landscape. So Portrait is the majority of your documents will be, it's the up and down, but Landscape allows you to turn it. So that is another option you have, is to turn it. So now if you notice, my page turned, and now it's long ways this way instead of, I'm going to zoom out so you can see that. So my page, this page is the one that I changed. So now it is the landscape versus this one was where we started, and it was staying in Portrait. So I'm going to go back to this page. I'm going to zoom back in, and I'm going to change it back to Portrait. And if we zoom back out, you can see both pages now are back in Portrait. So I can change this page because I'm now selected here, Orientation, Landscape. So that is how you turn your page to be vertical or horizontal, which is the orientation of the page. I hope you guys learned some new things today. If you have any questions, please feel free to see me in room 105. Otherwise, go ahead and save your work and submit it to your teacher. Thank you guys and have a great day.